There we go. Okay, hopefully this is working. Let's make sure we've got our microphone on. Yeah, looks like it's working. Okay. What else am I doing? I want to adjust the audio because There we go. Gay. Hello. Well, let's forward that to season 15. Okay, so we're at the Nordschleife. We're in our McLaren. I've got it in hot lap mode, so I don't have to worry about tyre pressures or anything like that. And who's that saying it's a track guide when it's not? But what we're going to do is we're just going to drive around gradually and just talk about where to place your car for the corners and things like that. Let's take that down over there. So, start out on the Grand Prix circuit. And most of this is kind of the same as the normal circuit you drive around. Coming down to turn 1, you brake just before the 100. You probably want to give it like 120 or something like that. Keep it tight, and then you want to be very nice and tight here. So you're basically brushing that curb on the inside there. And hard on the power. Let's come down to the next part of the Grand Prix circuit that you're familiar with. Outside there, you want to brush those cones. The reason I knock them is because that's where you want to. That's where you want to be. In the middle of the circuit to brake for this corner. Power out nicely, and then we're going to head down to the hairpin. So down to the hairpin, nice and wide here, and what you do is when you then want to turn in there, keep it nice and balanced, and then on the throttle nice and early to bring power out to here. And now coming over to the right hand side, use that curb to then bring yourself onto this curb here, and then so you want to use all three of the curbs there through the Schumacher S, as long as there's no other cars parked there. Over to the right hand side, this is a third gear corner. You can use the inside curb there, you don't have to, you can. Bring yourself over to the left, and you kind of want to roll the car through the corner here, in third gear, and then onto the power, to bring up to the chicane. One thing to remember for the chicane is that in this version, unlike the other version of the circuit in-game, you have got this big curve on the inside here. So you brake at the 75 kind of mark, avoid that yellow curb there. You want to use a lot of this curb here, and then it brings you out. Again, maximise the track. You want to be around here whilst you're braking to bring the car in nice and tight. Your power on point is then here, and you'll bring yourself out to the Armco wall. You want to go just beyond the Armco wall before braking. You want to be in second gear in the McLaren for this corner here. Again, nice and early on the power. Again, here you want to place your car out wide, and you can then take this corner flat. And you can even, if you're quick enough out of the previous corner, you can even be changing up into fifth gear as you're going through that through there. I do have the corner names up as well. Hard braking into here, down into third gear. You want to take this curb as much as you can, and it'll kind of spit you out around here. Sometimes the car's a bit light, and you want to make sure you're in control. These corners, you want to be off the curb there. You want to be on the curb here in third gear. It will bounce a little bit, but you still will have some good momentum going through this corner. On the power for a short while, and then you keep it in third gear again for this corner. Some cars will like taking that curb on the inside back there, some won't. You've got to judge for your own car. And then we're coming down to Flugplatz. So you're over the crest, and here you'll lift, both in quali a little lift, and in the race probably a bigger lift. Back on the power very early though, and it brings you all the way down the straight, and we're going down through Schwedenkreuz to Arenberg. It's better than that, mate. Positioning your car on the right hand side here, so you want to be all the way out here, and then depending on your car is how much you need to lift through this corner. In the McLaren, on lower fuel, you can do a very, very light lift and kind of keep the car tight to the curb. This is free. This is free as well. What are you on about? Hard braking through Arenberg, and then that's kind of an easier corner. You know where to power out from there. This is now coming down to the foxhole. So full speed all the way through here. The car will compress at the bottom here, and then it's about how much curb you're willing to take there. You can take, in most cars you can take that. You probably will need a lift anyway. So kind of fifth gear, and then it's all about rolling off the speed gradually through these set of corners until this section here, where you're in second gear for both, and it's just about balancing the car and getting on the power nice and early. Here again, we want to be all the way out on the right hand side here, and in the McLaren it's a lift in fifth gear. You don't need to brake, just a lift and tip the car in. I'm going to go backwards there if it'll let me, because I'm going to show you where we want to brake for this corner. So you've got this curb on the right hand side, and as you've lifted and come through this previous corner in fifth gear, you want to brake just after that concrete curbing ends there, and that will be your braking zone for this next corner. So this will bring you in through here in second gear. Again, you avoid the curb, and then you want to use this second sign there as your braking point for this corner. Nice late apex, that's where you want to apex. You want to be hard on the power there, and then through this section you want to get nice and wide. Get the nose through here, so to straighten out the car here. And then you're into hit miss. So you miss, you apex that one, you're powering out, so you miss that one, all the way down to here, and then you're braking hard, now in a straight line, nice and tight through this corner, and then on the power again, because you can bring the car out nice and wide here. You've got that exit curb there too. This section is difficult because it's kind of downhill, so you don't always have the best grip, but third gear through here. You can either be the middle of the track there or wide, but you want to come over to the left hand side here to then get it tipped in, because then the faster you can go through here and keep the car nice and neutral, the more speed you can then carry down to Niki Lauda corner, Bergwerk. So I brake just before the sign here for Bergwerk. Again, nice wide entry. You want to carry the speed through. There's a late apex there, and then you're back on the power. Again, the corner speed you can carry there, the more you can carry, the more you're going to be faster down this straight. Send it widely. Flat out through this entire section. It's all uphill, so the car isn't at its full speed. And then here, use this curb here on the outside, lift, and then you're going through here as fast as you can as well. Probably about 230, 220 kph. Flat through this corner as well. And then you're braking here at the beginning of the curb. Balancing the car on the throttle here, and then as early as you dare get on the throttle to come out here. No lift, big balls indeed. Braking for the carousel, there's that white mark on the ground there, you can brake just before that. Chuck yourself into the carousel. Keep the throttle nice and balanced because you want to keep your speed up while staying in the carousel. And then this is probably the best stretch of circuit anywhere in the world. Nice and wide. From 5th down into 4th for this section here. Keep it in 4th here. Avoid the curb. Brake. Roll the car through here nicely. And then here you want to get wide again because you want to carry the speed through here. Roll off a little bit of speed here. tip the car across there. On a full quality lap, you'll be over 180k there. Keep this in 4th gear. Again, wide. Bring the car in. Do not touch the curb here, but keep it tight. Keep it tight to those curbs. Tip the car in as soon as that concrete curbing ends on the left-hand side through YouTube corner. YouTube corner is a 3rd gear here as well. You've got a patch of concrete, so it's quite wide there to exit the corner. 3rd gear for here to keep the car nice and balanced. It might feel like it's a 2nd gear corner, but you don't want the rear to be loose. On a quality lap here, little dab of brake just to keep the car nose down as it goes over the bump. Again, keeping it tight to the curves but not touching them. The front of the nose will come up here, and then here it's all just about easing the car through these corners. Not touching the curbs, but you're flat out. Braking into 5th gear, as much speed as you can carry there, and likewise here, either 4th or 3rd, depending on how much speed you can carry. And then brake where the rubber is on the right hand side for the mini carousel. It's okay if your car is in the middle of the circuit when it exits there. Again, bring it over to the left. Tip it in here, nice and wide, because you want to be as wide as possible to hold the car through here. The more speed, again, you can carry, the better you're going to be top speed wise down this back straight. Burn that rubber, baby. So the next lap I'll do more of a normal speed. If it's just the Nordschleife itself, like if you're on Gran Turismo or something like that, you don't have the Grand Prix section. There's 3 sections to the circuit. With this layout, there's 4. You think of it as Grand Prix, first part of Nordschleife down to Arenberg, and then I go from Arenberg all the way to the carousel, and then it's the carousel back home. And you don't necessarily have to learn the individual corners as such, you just learn the flow. Brake hard here, down into the hairpin. A little bit late if anything, but bring the nose round, nice and tight there. On the power. You want to be over on the tarmac here, brake and bring the car in. You want to be in the middle of the circuit here to brake for this part. You've got to remember as well, George, that in this section, because you're on a Nordschleife setup, your ride height's a lot higher, so the car feels harder to drive around this bit. We're balancing the car through the hairpin here, on the power. Arundel. Not on this circuit, mate. Through the Schumacher S. No Jose parked there on the curb, hopefully. And you bring yourself over to the right to brake for here. 3rd gear. Use that sign on the left hand side as your marker. Roll the car through here. It doesn't have to be a snowman. After the 100, brake for the chicane. Avoid the yellow curb. We're going to roll the car through, not as quick as you would be on the Grand Prix circuit. Again, nice and wide to bring yourself into here. On the power where the little hill crests there. 2nd gear through here. Avoid the curb. Boy. Nice and wide for your entry. Flat through there. Braking. 3rd gear. Back on the power. Don't hit that curb, but you want to be on this curb, and then you want to roll the car through this one. You can use the exit curb there. 3rd gear. Car's nice and balanced. On the power, all the way to the flip flats. Wasn't it around here? Little lift, see? Just to help the nose. Yeah, you were very lucky, mate. And we're keeping the car on the right hand side. I'll try and take this as flat as possible to show you. There we go, pretty much flat. But we just little lift, the tiniest lift possible. And we're going down the foxhole. Little on the brake, and then down the gears. Just gradually slowing the car down for here. Use the curb there, but look, it will turn the car around. So some cars will like that more than others. Maybe a BMW or something will you can take quite a lot of that curb. Here, just a lift, and then brake just after that concrete. Like I said, it can actually probably be a bit later, but use that as your marker anyway. Late apex. Straighten the car up on the power. Bring it to the right to bring it across, because then you're nearly flat through that corner. Miss, hit, miss. There's hit. And as late as you dare brake here, scrub off the speed. You want to kind of trail brake that in because you're kind of slightly turning still. Brake at the end of the curb. Third gear through here, as much speed as you can. But bring the car over to the left and turn in as early as you feel confident to do. Brake as late as you can close to that sign for Bergwerk. Again, it's a late apex there. We could have gone faster through there because we're nowhere near that exit curve. That's where we need to be. Here it's just about keeping the speed up. It's just like a little place where you can relax. Lift. Let the car roll through. And we're flat through there. And braking at the start of the curb. Push. Brake before that white marker. Into the carousel. Keep your speed up through the carousel as much as you can. Again, wide here. A little bit of brake. Just bring it down to fourth gear. Fourth gear here too. Third for here. Back on the power. Keep it left because we want to then bring the car in here as fast as we can. Scrub off a little bit of speed there. Oh, see, got to be careful with that curve, a little bit too fast. We're okay, that's why we're in hot lap mode. No damage. Through YouTube corner. Out on these curves there, bring it over to the right. I've gone down in second, but that's because I'm slower than I should be. That's a third gear corner on a really good lap. Little dab of brake, keep the nose down. Brake as late as possible for here. So the mini carousel, bring yourself out in the middle of the circuit there. Wide entry for here. Keep it wide because then you want to tip the car in on the power. And you can relax, unless you've got someone slipstreaming you down here. I know that the tyre pressures aren't ideal through the. So let's try and do a faster lap. I mean, the alien laps are like 8:03, 8:02 in this, which is insane. We're better on the hairpin there. Nice and tight, on the power. Use the sign there for the hairpin. Roll the car through in second gear. On the power as soon as you can. Curb. 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 Use all of them. If you're not using all of them, you're not going fast enough. Car up to the chicane. You can brake quite late into Sabine Schmidt curve there. Still carry a good amount of speed. There we are, flat through there, changing up midway through. Use the throttle to keep the car balanced over that curb. Oh, we touched that curb when we didn't want to. It just shows as well, it made the car bounce a bit. That inside curve there down the little dip, you don't really want to touch that either. Right, as flat as possible through here. Oh, car sliding. And depending on what car you're in, you've just got to find out whether you can take that close to flat. I know the Ferrari can, but you have to find out. You might have to then just crash it at some point. Rolling off the speed through all of those corners after the foxhole. Just a lift. Nice late braking there. Roll the car through here. Back on the power. Don't touch the curb and then use the sign as your reference. Late apex. That was a bit too deep, to be honest, on the brakes, but we brought it round. Flat through there, see? Flat. Oh, we've lost the rear, we've lost the rear, we've lost the rear! I got too far onto the grass. This is why you shouldn't always listen to me, because I'm not as good as the actual good people. Use the curb. That's your marker. Nice and early there. Oh, fucking that was my fault. I just got my outside wheels on the grass. Through Bergwerk. Again, on the power as early as you can. Again, there's just a tiny lift just to help the car. But you kind of need partial throttle there to keep the car balanced as well. On the power, keep left. Don't crash there. I'm thinking about it too much now. The rear is a bit loose in the McLaren. It's not the easiest car to drive here. Turned in too early there. I have to get out of it. Keep it in third gear here, nice and tight on the power. Use that curb if you can. Most cars can take that. Use a lot of front lock there. Again, here you're going to have the nose lifting. Just got a little loose there, that's okay, we balanced it. Not enough throttle early enough there. Tip the car in, keep it wide, then turn as much as you can with a lift, get on the power again. Then we can relax on the straight for a little bit. Stay flat here as long as you can. Hard braking. Let me go again. Rear was a bit loose there. that Astro on the outside of that left-hander, it's definitely grippier in this version of the track than the Grand Prix one. Yeah, but I could go into the server and put race fuel in, and then that would be that kind of race. Right, midway, but if you view it as like a little straight, you're braking about midway through it. Avoid that curve. Use that curve. Roll through this corner, back on the power. Ooh, see how if you touch that curb, it's going to rotate the car. I can't see all of the message, mate, sorry. But in that last section, it's kind of like that anyway. And after the carousel, you are kind of it's flow more than attacking every corner like it's like the latest braking possible or something. It is all about the flow. Like here as well, you're just rolling the car through, you're not braking super late. And this corner coming over the head, the left-hander, it is just a lift, but you're not like diving in. Because you're already carrying the speed. See there, actually, that was better than the previous lap because I didn't brake so late. Here I'm already trailing off because I want to carry some speed down to that final apex. But you have to brake early enough because you've got that little snake in the circuit. But you see, a lot of it, Jose, is just that. It's just you rolling the car through the corner and keeping your corner speed up. A lot of these you could go, right, I'm going to brake as late as possible, but that's not the fastest way. Little lift. Turned into a bigger lift actually because I didn't get the front grip there. Oh, rear's got a bit loose. That's okay. Right, let's try and get this right. A little bit less speed, that was a bit better. kind of want to turn there as soon as the front lands. You want to get it turned in. Oh. Some weird settings from Jardia's stream. Okay, so it's 13.6. Which is not bad considering it's the air temp's a bit warmer than in the server as well. Oh, there we go. We tagged the inside. Right, we'll take a little break there. Will it let us watch the replay or not? I don't think it will. Let's go to the server. Let's go to the server. Yeah, that line through the whatchamacallit. Why is that? Okay. What's that last corner before the Dottinger Hohe? Schwalbenschwanz? Yeah, that was quite good that time. See what the weather's like. Is this the right?
Green light, show them what you got.
No. I need to exit and rejoin. What?
Green light, go, go, go.
A Red Bull fan? Where's a Red Bull fan? Oh, it's only... hang on, let's have a look. Fast? It's not even optimum. It's the right time. Okay, it's the right time. That's fine. Yeah, but I'm not a Red Bull fan. So we're going to do the shortcut before we start a timed lap. See, with the tyre pressures low in this first part, I mean they're always lower in this section anyway, because when you start your lap, even from a previous lap, you've been going down that straight for so long that your tyre pressures have dropped. So the Grand Prix section is always a bit rubbish, but you're not setting your tyre pressures for the Grand Prix section, you're setting them for the Nordschleife. Avoid that curve. I'm going to stay left though here because we're going to take this last corner. That's the main thing, no spinala. Nice and clean, no cones touch there. Not enough over that curb. Oh, brakes too late and invalidated the lap. That's the worst, is when you invalidate it, not even in the Nordschleife. What we can do is we can just go again. Take the shortcut again. .143, that's the fastest ever I've gone around that circuit, cutting out a nice bit of the circuit there. The first sector. Saves you 10 seconds. Front always feels like it's going to wash out there, but then you have to remember that the car is like 20mm higher than it is when it's normally on the Grand Prix circuit. It just doesn't have the same aero. That was better. Bring it over, roll the car in, on the power. Up to here, after the 100. Avoid the yellow curb. Quite wide, brake hard. Trail it in again. Look, the front wasn't quite biting there. Yep. Avoid this curb. Over this one. Roll it through this one. That was better. Right, let's avoid this curb here because it's just going to rotate it. There we are. Didn't turn early enough there for floodplats. So I'm not carrying quite as much speed. As close to flat as we dare. On the brakes just as the curb ends on the left hand side. Beasted that curve there. Can't do that anymore, can you, with the modern version? That was nice. Car felt nice and settled through that bit. Not quite as loose. Staying wide to lift. Brake hard. Yeah. Flat through there. Then a lift. You're naturally going to get understeer through that corner too. Which is why you want to turn as early as you can get confident doing. Here as well, you get slight turn in understeer. It helps you, if you can trail it nicely, it helps you then find that late apex. Because the front is always coming to you. Late on the brakes there. Okay, we held it. Can't see the white marker there, so you kind of have to guess it. The later into the race you go, that will get easier because then you can see that white marker. Whoa! Bouncing over the curbs. Shouldn't have done that. Okay, we've messed this section up completely. And we see how you get out of the rhythm in one bit. It affects you every subsequent corner. On the power. This part, more than the other two parts of the circuit, is it's just rhythm. And like I say, if you fall out of the rhythm, it's hard. Because every corner you take is then placing the car for the next one. on a good lap, as I go through the bridge, it should be under, at least under 7 minutes 30, but 7 minutes 28. So we're just moving the car gradually over to the right hand side. Kind of naturally does that anyway. What, through the last corner before the straight? Yeah. If you've got good enough front end, and maybe it's not in the McLaren, like something like the BMW or the Ferrari are really good here for that. If you get it pointed, yeah, if you get it pointed right. Still brake slightly before the 100 there, because I never feel like that 100 marker is exactly right. Cat behind me. So you're definitely slower through that chicane than you are in the Grand Prix version. It's okay, because you don't want to hit that yellow curb. Go a little bit deep on the brakes there. See how it unsettles the car, that curb? But you kind of need to use it for carry the speed as well. Avoid this curb on the power. That was better this time. And yeah, everywhere on this circuit, mate. Nice and smooth. Yeah, his marker, the markers he's talking about is his parking markers. Too late on the brakes there. Someone crashed a lot there, didn't they, in the 24 hour? Naming no names. You really explored the limits of the circuit, didn't you? Too hot into there, too hot, too hot, too hot. Yeah, definitely need to brake a little bit and bring it down to fourth. The only time I need not to crash is Tuesday. We can crash beforehand. Dab a brake here. Tip the car in. Little dab of oppo. Oh, from washing out a bit there. We're not going to have enough fuel, are we, to do another lap? Wise words. Yeah, we're not going to have enough. They did that extra Grand Prix lap. Okay. How long have we been streaming for? 1 hour. I think we can wrap that up. I think I covered kind of most of where you want to place your car and where to be careful. Oh, we got Will Buxton in the chat. The person who does the fastest time on Saturday starts on first position for Sunday's race. Yeah, so that is some guidance for the Nordschleife. I hope it is useful, and I hope everyone has a good race on Tuesday. I want to see some good lap times coming in during the week beforehand. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.